The fire that has enveloped the compound throws lights into the darkness surrounding it. And before it, two silhouettes can be seen. One is incredibly tall, could easily rival the sheriff in height and width as well. And the other is also tall, not as tall, but lithe, with a long black coat and a strange hat with a wide brim. They both look upon the fire that licks at the night sky. The man in the long coat and the hat looks at the tall man and he says, "Vlad, it's been so long. How are you?" Vlad, the tall man, looks down and says nothing. Vlad is not the most talkative of individuals. The man who's addressing him is called Jonah. And Jonah surveys the burning landscape and he says, "Just like old times, follow me." The two begin approaching the warehouse. Jonah makes sure that he carefully steps over what remains of a security officer on the way towards the warehouse. And he's looking around at the death and the carnage being enveloped by the fire. And he says, "This is perfect. This is perfect. Look, I can see where that one hit the wall. I can see where this has exploded. It's a symphony." What do you think, Vlad? Vlad doesn't say anything. He's not the talkative type. "Oh, there's an elevator back there. Shall we take it?" No answer. The two make their way into the subterranean levels of the compound whilst it is still on fire. Jonah is making many different excitable comments about the wrath and destruction that was wrought here. They find themselves walking down a corridor which is just bathed in blood, littered with shattered firearms and bullet casings floating in the crimson. They find their way into an interrogation room. Thankfully, the fire hasn't spread down here. Such it is built from stone and tile. There is a similar portrait of death painted throughout this place. Its shattered glass ceiling still dripping with blood. Jonah steps over the remains of what looks to be some kind of creature made out of sack fabric. Bends down and looks at the creature, broken and ripped apart. He lowers his hand into the stuffing and the thread, and he produces from it what looks to be a smashed mobile. He looks at it once. "Oh, that's great," he says as he puts it into his pocket. "Now there's something else, Vlad. Can you see it?" Vlad doesn't say anything. Jonas scans with keen eyes. His eyes are unusual, even for a vampire. He looks down upon this place and spots something in the ground. Something metal, something no bigger than a British 20p piece. And he looks at it upon the strange design carved upon it. And he gives it a flick, catches it. Heads or tails, Vlad? Vlad doesn't say anything. "I know someone who's going to be very interested in this," Jonah grins. "We see darkness, or we see blood. painted across this place. And then we see a clinical room. Its light almost too bright. Tess, your eyes crack open. You are in a place that we saw briefly last session. It is the strange clinic room that can be found within Ventru Towers. You, of course, have never been in here, but I'll describe it again nonetheless. You are upon a table that is sort of upright like that. You have 2 blood drips that have sustained you, that have healed you. Your condition is you're not at fighting fit just yet, but you feel like you will be. However, the pain that courses through your body has not left you from your beatings and from the torture that was done upon you. What's going through Tess's mind?
Tess's first instinct right now is fear. She's looking around, trying to decide if she is a prisoner here. She moves her arms, seeing if they're restrained. She looks to see if there's an armed guard. The last thing she remembered, she was still with Winchester.
Yeah, it's all coming back to you. You see flashes of the grinning, smug face of Starza as he goaded you as you were beaten again and again. You see the blazing spectacles that almost seem to still burnt into your vision. The spectacles that belong to the weatherman, someone who was performing some strange act to pluck secrets from your mind, and was only successful in one regard. Donecker, your name. The name runs through your mind, and you think of, for a second, that you might have seen him down there, but it's so hazy. You feel full. You feel energized, despite the pain that courses through your body.
Tess would, when these bits of memory, she says Donecker's name. Donecker. And then she looks around. Toph? Siegfried? Where am I?
The door opens, and it's at the far end of this, what you now see as your eyes focus a bit better. This long, long room lined with beds that look in a similar fashion. The 2 figures approach. One is Toph, and the other is Mr. Gisborne. Toph, you have been in possession of your faculties. A day has passed since the events in the compound, and by all means feel free to think of what Toph was doing in that time, but for the time being, what had happened is this. You see the sheriff smashing out of the shadows and essentially just picking Tess up and dragging her directly to Ventru Towers without a word given to you. You have been placed within confinement throughout this time until Mr. Gisborne has got to you and taken you to this place to see Tess. What's going through Toph's mind?
Toph was just like feeling like a caged animal. I imagine he's pacing a lot in the room they kept him in. And then when Mr. Gisborne comes and gets him, he figures it's just for more of the Camarilla bullshit. But then he sees the doors, and when he comes through the doors with Mr. G and he sees Tess there, all of that's forgotten. He just runs over to her. He just yells, "Tess! Tess!" and he would just, his eyes would quickly go over her, seeing that, she's got the ability that all vampires have. She's starting to heal. They've given her the blood that she needs. He smiles at her, and then he looks back at Gisborne. Now what? And he places a hand, and for once, in those rare moments when Toph does it, there's almost like a soft compassion to it, as he just rests a very gentle hand onto Tess's.
Mr. Gisborne looks at you both and he says, "When you are recovered, you are to report to me." And he looks at you, Toph, and he says, "It would be prudent if you were to share our agreement."
Toph doesn't say anything. He just nods his head, turns his eyes away from Mr. Gisborne.
Mr. Gisborne goes to leave and he stops, and then he turns around and looks at you, Tess, and he says, "I would say the sheriff would extend his apologies, but I know that is not true. However, know that what was done to you was for your own good. If you were left in the condition you were in, you would have been a danger to us all. Be thankful you live."
Where are the others? What agreement? What happened?
I'm sure your friend will be able to enlighten you. As for your friends, we don't know.
Tess squeezes Toph's hand and looks up at him, just wanting some reassurance.
He kind of looks away. He can't keep eyes locked with you. He looks down at the floor. He shakes his head. He nails down next to you. I don't know where they are, Tess. They went crazy.
At the word "they went crazy," I think our vision will move. Siegfried. Where would Siegfried have run to? This is obviously entirely down to you, Jeff. So you can describe what Siegfried has been doing during this time and what's been running through his mind.
Yeah, so because of the route that he took from the facility going out that same chute that they dropped in, he was gone before Toph even left. So he did not see where they ended up. But he figured that they would be able to get in touch. But he quickly realized shortly afterwards that neither Toph nor Tess's phones are working or on their person. So he probably would have just gone home, honestly. At least to start, just to make it through that next morning and into the following night. Just everything still just racing through his head. The pile of muck that he left behind from those people, seeing Donecker in a state that he can only imagine would have been similar to what he had done and not realized. And then just the complete chaos in the facility. He's not exactly sure how to process it or how to get in touch with any of the other people. But he knows that would be where they could find him if they are still alive, and if they have the ability to do so. So he would be there.
Absolutely. Your sleep, I won't lie to you, is a restless one. You see vivid images of carcasses, endless carcasses before you, all looking upon you and smiling. As I said, a day has passed and a new night is upon you. Though surprisingly, you still feel a little bit full from your lavish behavior the night before, so you don't actually have to feed right now. There is no familiar. It's almost as if the thing that reminds you of your lost humanity is now silent. What do you want to do?
Yeah, and I imagine at this point, once he wakes up, he pulls out his phone again, looking at the text he sent to Tess hasn't been read. The text he sent to Toph hasn't been read. Sent to Donecker hasn't been read. Calls that he sent but haven't been returned. And he's just like nervously going, just basically just repeating, almost nonsensically, this pattern of like checking it every couple seconds just to see if somehow by magic something has happened. Consistently realizing that nothing has. Just like pacing awkwardly and nervously around his house. Confused, not quite sure what to do.
Donecker, you feel warm. A sensation you believe to be lost to you, but you feel ever so warm right now. You feel a comforting weight pressing on top of your chest. You're able to sense that you're lying down, but you cannot see. You feel a strange feeling of contentment for a second as you awake, before you remember the blazing gunfire, the screaming of pain, and the begging of mercy. You're in darkness and you cannot see, which is unusual for one of your kind. What's running through your mind?
I guess he's like trying to process what happened, because I imagine it's very blurry. He would just lie there and like wonder about the weight on his chest. That's not normal. He can't see. That's not normal. Lots of these things, and he wonders like what like the bestial version of him would have thought would be safe. And he like processes it in his mind. He's like, if the sun was coming up and you had to go somewhere, where would you go? And yeah, he would like try and sit up, I guess, and see if that's possible.
It is, and it seems like the weight that upon you appears to be shifting, writhing uncontrollably upon you. As you sit up, you find that you are emerging from a colossal pile of slimy sewer rats that pour across you. You can see that they have been feasting upon the clothing, the blood-soaked clothing about your person, gnawing through it, trying to get whatever sustenance from it they can. To them, this is a paradise, and to you, they are old friends.
You like sit up and see them like skittering all over the place, and it wouldn't freak him out the way it would freak out basically anyone. He's kind of a kindred spirit to these sewer creatures, and he would like look at one of them and like make a noise and ask it how long he's been here.
Another one replies, a day and a night, it says. Somehow it communicates that to you. You basically have been here all day and now it's the next night.
So it shows me like I guess a vision of like the sun coming up and the sun going back down, or it being bright and it being dark, and he like pieces it together. Am I wearing any clothes, or are they all eaten?
You do have sort of like rags on you. Maybe you've got like your shirt, and you do have that old army duster that you put on yourself and sort of like the Kevlar and stuff. So
Yeah.
most of that was what was getting eaten by the rat. So you do have like a thread on your back, but it doesn't look great. Completely covered in blood. You're quite right. It is incredibly hazy what happened to you. When you frenzy, it is almost impossible to remember what it is you're doing. That's why control goes to me to describe what's happening, because it's out of your control and it's out of your knowledge. Almost, it's that bad. That you do have these recurring just flashes of graphic, horrendous imagery. And amidst them, you see your friends. You know you saw your friends for a moment, but then they are lost in a tidal wave of blood that consumes your waking thoughts.
I'll pull out my phone. I assume it's dead at this stage.
Let's find out. Let's roll a D100. And 20% that it's on, I'll say. It's off. It's definitely dead.
Yeah. So he'll like look at that and just like, fuck. I mean, he has no possible way of knowing where he is in London based on the sewers. Like, he doesn't have a clue. So he'll just like look around. I guess he only wakes up at nighttime. He wouldn't wake up during the day, as far as he would know. So he's going to try and like get up and like start to follow the paths under, I don't know what you call them, the canals, I guess, and see if you can find like a manhole.
Yeah, absolutely. Canals is probably the thing that I'd call it. London sewers famous for being able to walk through like a vast portion of them. It's very easy to see the way that you came because you can see daubed all across the walls as you are walking the way you came. You see just blood, just wet handprints. You can see pieces of things that have been left by you. You can see that you have left just a pure trail of destruction in your wake. You see bits of the wall have been like ripped out in a last furious attempt to stay on your feet.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he sees that trail, very obvious trail that something has come down here and killed lots of things, and he just wants to go to bed or like go eat or like get out of this place, but then he like can't leave that sort of trail behind him, and so he's going to have to remove it. And the only thing to hand is sewer water that you could use to like wash blood off the walls, but it's better that than like having fucking Mr. Gisborne come down here and be like, oh, I see fucking Donecker was here. So he can't tolerate that, so he has to like go and scrub all the stuff off the walls as best that he can manage, particularly handprints that he's left.
Yeah, you're able to set to the grim, disgusting work before you. And while I wouldn't call it cleaning, you are able to disguise, obscure your.
I am good at obfuscation, so maybe that helps.
Yeah, no, you're not. You're going to be able to like hide your path, and you do see that you would have at some point. You think almost just flung yourself down like a manhole. You can see bits of viscera and membrane sort of coating the ladder that you would have used to scale down. And you're able to like get rid of everything off the ladder, and you're able to see through the crack of the manhole that it is indeed nighttime.
So I don't know if I want to go back the way I came from. That seems never go back to the scene of the crime. They always say that. So I think maybe he'll like see that like trail and just like think, no, that's not a good idea. So he'll like do his best to like clean the blood and guts off the walls, and then he'll turn around and like walk for 3 hours or like 2 hours until he comes to a different manhole that he thinks is closer to the center.
Yeah, you are walking by and you almost jump as you spot something. You're making your way to find a different way out of this place, and there's a pathway that goes left and right. You almost jump because it's almost like you see someone. It's almost like you see a SWAT guard standing there, a member of the Winchester Corporation. But you blink and it's gone.
Yeah, I think he would like snarl and like he would like reach out a hand and the claws would like extend for a second, and then he would like shake it out of his mind and go back to walking.
Tess, Toph, Mr. Gisborne has left you alone in the clinic. Mechanically now, Tess, you're fine. You're healed, but you're definitely still feeling it. What is it you'd like to do or say? And that goes for both of you.
Tessa, are you okay? He would kind of reach up with a hand and he'd kind of move some of the hair out of your face, and he would just see like the bruises. What the hell did they do to you?
I'd rather not talk about it.
Toph would nod knowingly, or unknowingly actually, but probably not wanting to put you back through it. He goes, "Can you get up? Gotta find the others." And he would kind of help her up, probably knowing that she probably wouldn't need it, but he wants to be a support for her. He hasn't been the nicest mentor. So he kind of snakes an arm behind your back and kind of hopes to lift you up out of the seat.
Yeah, she'll let him, like mostly just for the contact. She's been, it seems like, for weeks, even though it had only been hours, the only contact with anyone was pain. And so just to have any sort of touch that's friendly. She goes, "Toph, what happened to you? I thought you were dead. She threw you out the window."
It's pretty close. Yeah, I've never seen anything like that before. Won't make that mistake again. And he kind of winces a bit when he thinks about the experience. They saved me, you know. Donecker, Sig. If it wasn't for them, I would have been dead. Sun would have baked me for sure. And you kind of sense that there's something he wants to tell you, but he's kind of putting it off as we kind of make our way to the door.
We've got to find them. They came for me. You came for me.
I guess when you get to the door, Toph's like, "I got to tell her." He stops, he moves his arm out from your back, and he just grabs both your hands in his, and he looks right in your face, and he says, "I got to tell you, they didn't want me to help you. They told me not to."
Who didn't? Siegfried?
No. Camarilla.
Fuck the Camarilla.
Right. But listen, I had to... Just listen. I had to do it. Just know that, okay?
What? Had to do what?
I didn't have any other choice. I had to get you. I had to make sure that you were safe.
Toph, what did you do?
Toph turns and he just punches the wall. And it just kind of just resonates in this very sterile room. And he turns and he says, "Fucking, I had to sign the contract."
What kind of a contract? You have a copy of it? Was it notarized?
No. There wasn't time. Too much time had already passed, Tess. Winchester had you.
Okay, but what kind of contract? What did you agree to?
I don't know.
You didn't read it?
I didn't read it.
Fucking
I
hell.
didn't have time. I know. I had to do it.
There's a copy of it somewhere, right?
Yeah, Mr. G has it.
Okay, we'll deal with that later.
No, listen. And he grabs you by your shoulders and he says, "Listen, that's not the worst part." As if anything could be worse than that.
There's just like this one. Oh God, what?
I think, and he's lying now. I think when I signed that contract, I signed it for you, Siegfried, and Donecker too. That's how they work. They fuck you all.
Well,
I know.
that's not legal. You can't sign for someone else. Yeah, no, there are all kinds of issues with that. No. No, surely not. And if you are under duress, then we have grounds for dismissal, because you can't be forced into signing something, no statements, no contracts. Okay, we can handle this, right?
Toph is just looking at you with like this bewilderment, and then he starts to laugh. That's good. That's good, Tess. You keep holding on to that humanity. We're going to need it. Let's go. We got to find the others. What do you think they'd be? Donica he's crazy. And Sig? And he would probably go into that story as they walk out. He would tell her the story of how he found Siegfried, like with these dead Winchester guys all around him, and he just coated in this blood.
I think Tess's eyes just get huge. Siegfried?
I've told you guys, you have to hold on to humanity. You give yourself into the beast, you lose
Oh,
it.
Siegfried.
He snapped out of it. He seemed to be okay when I saved you. Or he corrects himself. No, we saved you. But Donica,
Let's start at Siegfried's place.
he was wild. Yeah, he would nod.
Donica may have gone to Downing Street. I don't know. But
I've never seen he was an animal. More bestial than a Nosferatu I've ever seen. I didn't even dare go near him.
let's start. Let's start at Siegfried's place.
Yeah, that's a good bet. Let's go.
Do I interpret that as you attempting to leave Venture Towers?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. It's you see
Are we
the
not
elevator is there.
allowed to-
Yep, the elevator is right there.
Yeah, I mean, having
Yeah, we walk up to the elevator. Toph reaches over. Bing, bing.
As you press the button, a voice from over your shoulder, it's Mr. Gisborne, and he says, "Did you explain?"
Yes, it did.
Very good. We will be in touch about the first favor that is required shortly.
now, Mr. Gisborne, I would like to have a look at this contract and to see if Toph signed it under duress, and signing for other people is inadmissible.
Pardon?
It needs to be evaluated. Was it witnessed? Was it notarized? I don't think you should hold him to something if there were extenuating circumstances, and you certainly oughtn't hold anyone else to something that he signed under those circumstances.
Just in case you aren't aware, our ways are very different from the kinds that you're used to. Your friend, Toph, is officially charged as watching over you. He is responsible for you, and therefore is able to act for you. It has been our way for 1,000 years, and that is not likely to change.
Then the matter of being forced to sign a document without given the appropriate time to read it, comprehend it, ask questions, and given the nature of the situation,
My dear,
I think
if
it
he
needs
had
to
been
be
given
reevaluated.
time, if he had been given time, you would likely be dead.
From what I hear, no thanks to you.
Toph interrupts at this point, and he says, "We get it, Mr. G. She will too. We have to go. We have to find our friends. Can we go? Are we able to go?"
Well, of course. Our doors are always open.
Toph would kind of turn a shoulder to him and just reach over and press the button.
Eventually, the elevator gets there. The doors open.
Yeah, I imagine it's awkward. We're just kind of
It's really awkward. And then eventually, as you step into the elevator, he looks at you and he says, "We'll be in touch." And the doors close. Siegfried.
Once the doors close, Toph gives it the big.
Okay. Such a hard ass, man. When the doors close. Siegfried. You've had a little time to get yourself together. Maybe you've showered, maybe you've changed clothes or whatever. Like, well, tell me what you've been doing at this time, and yeah.
Yeah, Siegfried definitely would have taken a little bit of time to clean himself up, to get the Winchester guard uniform that he had been using to impersonate off of him, to clean up, get changed, have at least a little bit of time to settle his nerves at least, but there's only so far that time can go with that when there's still no information. But he would, as best as he could, try to get himself presentable, and try to calm himself down. Still resolved to wait until he hears something from anybody, hopefully.
Is there anything that you do whilst you wait? Is there anything that you do to pass the time?
I think he probably would have just plugged his phone into to speakers and just put on music, just anything to try to distract him from his own thoughts, just to get absorbed in something else, something that he can feel strongly about in a good way rather than just the complete disaster of the last couple days.
Okay. Well, with Tess and Toph en route, it won't be long before your feelings are, at least put at ease is probably the wrong way to say, actually, but there we are. Donecker, you have walked for some time, and eventually, you find a manhole that you believe to be far enough away and in a different part of town, likely, where you might be able to surface.
Yep. Like I look like a zombie, right? Like my clothes are in bits and rags. So I definitely like need to acquire some new clothing. But first, I'll like just peek up and see where I am if I can gauge that.
You do, and another point I'll make is that you're actually you look flushed. If you're looking at your skin, usually it's completely pale, but at this point, it looks almost like it has a slightly red hue. You open the manhole, and just a little bit, and you peek up, and you see that you're basically in a perfect spot for you. It is an alleyway. You can see that there is not a very busy road in front of you when you open up.
Okay. I'll give it like a minute to watch, see like what the regularity is of people walking by the top of the alleyway. If it's like really, really busy, then I'll think about waiting. But if it's not, then I'll just go for it. Uh-oh. We lose Rob?
No, don't say we lost him.
Yeah, he's frozen.
Yeah.
Yep, he's definitely frozen.
Every time.
Huh.
Well, not ideal.
He's just stalling for some time so that he can adjust to his diabolical plans for us.
I'm not doing any more work for the Camarilla. Like, I don't care what the contract says. I'm gonna take a video of me burning
I
the
would
contract.
be totally. I would lose all respect for Donecker if he did.
No fucking way. Not
Yeah.
like that. No way.
Mhm.
If they were like, "Hey, listen, we'd like you to do this job, and we will pay you," he would do the job. But the way that they have like acted has just been consistently the shittiest possible way. And like he ate shit from managers in real life because they were paying him. They're not even paying him. They're just telling him to do stuff. It's just not happening anymore.
Yeah. And not even just telling us how to do stuff, but telling us to do stuff with no background information, and then like later tell us that we shouldn't have done that stuff. And it's just literally.
Nah. I'm gonna find me some anarchs or even some Sabbat people, just somebody who can take these fucks down.
Aren't the Sabbat supposed to be
They're
crazy,
super
crazy?
evil. Yeah, they're
Yeah,
super
crazy and evil.
They dabble in the darker arts.
I mean, we're already vampires. How dark can it get? You know what I mean? Like, we're already eating people for assistance. Like,
Yeah, but it's different. The Sabbat, they actually they want the extinction of vampires.
The extinction of vampires?
Sabbat are the
Yeah.
people who think that it was Cain and not, right? They have that whole Canaanite thing. And they want to bring the end of the world? Gehenna?
Yeah. That's what it is. They want. It's
Oh,
like
are
they want to
crazy,
hit.
crazy.
They want to hit the ultimate reset button.
Yeah. Well, that wouldn't be so bad if it kills Mr. G.
Oh shit!
I mean, it would also kill all of us,
Yeah,
but
but it'd be worth it to see that fucker look unhappy.
we wouldn't get to see it. We'd have to be very careful with where we were when the end of the world happened, so we could at least watch him die with us.
And it's also really dangerous because werewolves are specifically there to stop that happening. So I think as a Sabbat, you're going to run into werewolves. They'll fuck your day right up. They're like way stronger than us.
Yep.
You don't want that.
Yeah, aren't the werewolves like the good guys or something in this?
Yeah,
World.
well, I mean, good is a relative term, but they like are trying to make sure that the world doesn't end and that Gehenna doesn't happen, which is like a Ragnarok type thing, I guess. And now the eternal question: will Rob make it back before the hangout stops?
I don't know. I should have started a timer.
Hopefully.
So is his last laptop is overheating again? Is that what it is?
Yeah, so it just seems to shut down in the middle of a game every time. I think it must be overheating because it happens so consistently, and it's always like over an hour into the game, you know. So it must be something like that.
Mm.
And once he comes back, it happens more frequently. So I think he's not giving it time to cool down. So it's got to be an overheating thing.
I wonder if you could get someone to replace the fan. Get a better one.
Super hard with laptops. It's like real hard to fix them because you have to take them all apart.
Yeah, I wonder if he's cleaned it out.
Laptops are notoriously annoying to make modifications to.
So, anyways, I've been looking at chat, and there's quite a few little. We got some people rooting for us to take care of Mr. G and the Camarilla, so that's good. That's good.
Oh yeah, I see Nico telling us to sell the Camarilla out to Winchester.
Yeah, I actually think that there's some. I bet they're actually working more alongside each other. It's one of those things where two enemies work together. They have a certain truce amongst themselves.
Mm-hmm.
The higher ups do for sure.
Now here's the plot twist. It's actually like the Sabbat or somebody who have infiltrated the Camarilla and they're taking over.
I called that earlier on in this game. Once we met the sheriff for the first time, I'm like, oh, no.
Yeah, isn't he like a super evil clan?
Yeah. If Toph's got him pegged right.
Well, there's a bunch of different clans and loads of bloodlines and stuff that aren't like much available for us, but there is loads more to choose from.
Well, his description, he had like the black eyes and stuff, which is
Pop's back.
very telling for us.
You made it.
Oh,
You
my
made
God.
it.
Oh my God. This is getting insane. Apologies, guys. For those of you watching, I'm not really sure what's going on my laptop at the moment, but it keeps freezing. It's either OBS or Chrome, and I don't know what it is. Because it's only when I run games that this happens. Bear with me 1 second. Did you guys have a little break?
No, will we do that now?
We've just been chatting.
Oh, well, I said, okay, all right. Take a 5-minute break. I will get my setup up and working again, and we'll continue. Apologies about that.
Cool.
Okay, that works. Okay, right.
I'm back. Do you think it's overheating, Rob?
I think, you know what? Hang on, I haven't got my headphones in. I barely heard that. Sorry, man. Say it again.
Do you think it's overheating?
I don't know. I think
Does
it
when
might
you
be.
play video games.
No, that's the thing. It's only when I run games, and occasionally when I play them. But for some reason, it doesn't happen as much when it's someone else.
Yeah, that's
running
super
it.
weird. It doesn't happen much in
is
Against the
weird,
Shadow,
isn't it?
like, and those games are long.
No, the last time it was when it did once in the Roman game we played.
Oh.
Right, anyway, dude, I'll be right back. Hello.
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 I nearly went nuts then. No one said anything. I was like, has it frozen again?
Sorry, I had to get unmuted.
Oh man, apologies about that. Are we ready to just jump straight back in?
Yeah, let's do it.
I might close OBS to see if that might.
Yeah,
help.
maybe just go audio only or something. It might be safer.
Yeah, I'm just going to close OBS for now, and then there we go, and I will change. There we go. Let's see if that helps. Okay.
So I had just said that I was like watching the road to see if people were coming out, like how frequently they're moving, and if it wasn't like too frequent, then I would just pop out.
Yeah, absolutely. No one appears to be coming down the alleyway. It's pretty dark, and it isn't really busy, so you're able to do so with ease. it is pretty cold, but you feel fine.
So mission number 1 is to find a clothing shop that I can break into and steal some clothes so that I can appear more normal. Because currently, even if people look at me, they'll still see a dude who's wearing rags and a Kevlar vest, which is a weird combination. But I do want to keep that because I think it's very valuable. But I want to try and find some clothes somewhere.
Yeah, what are you after?
A suit.
A suit.
Yes.
You see that there is a rather illustrious tailor not far from you. If that's where
Perfect.
you want to go.
Yeah, that's absolutely perfect.
It's shut.
Okay. Is it like the door of a house or the door of a shop? Like, is it glass windows and everything, or is it like in a house or something?
There's one very large glass window, and there's some steps that lead up to a shop front door.
Okay. Is it in an alleyway? Next to an alleyway?
No, it's actually like in a street.
If I look up, are there places above it?
No. Sort of like Georgian architecture.
Okay. There's no like balconies or anything like that on upper levels?
No. No, you're kind of on, you're able to tell where you are. You're Oxford Street, and it's kind of just like a big retail street, essentially.
Right. Well, I do need some clothes. Maybe this is not the best place to break into. But I want to, so I'm going to try. What's the lock situation?
It appears to have like a big lock on the front door by the door handle.
Like an actual physical lock?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then I'm going to try and rip that off.
Okay, strength and if you just want to punch it. Yeah, it would be strength because it was smashing or ripping it off. Yeah, strength.
Yeah,
and
basically just have to get my dice 1 second.
that's fine, no worries. I did have that.
I basically just want to like grab the lock and pull it off the wall if I can do that. So just strength, or is there something with it?
Brawl.
Well, okay. 1, 2, 3 in total.
Easily, you're in, and there's a ka-thunk, and it slowly opens. You can see that there's an alarm mechanism that begins to flash. You know that once you've opened the door, you have a short time to enter the code before it goes off.
Yep. I'm going to go to the alarm system. What's the shop called?
Savills Brothers.
Okay. That's I'll like process that in Donecker's mind, which is much cleverer than mine, and try and think of what the code might be. Is there a date that the shop, is it like a well-established sort of place?
Established 1832.
Beep, 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 beep.
I want you to roll a percentile, Lloyd.
Okay.
30%.
37 is what I got.
They're not quite.
Yeah.
If you make some kind of, I'm sure there's a check. I had a character sheet, but I lost it because.
Sure. What about
is there something
intelligence,
larceny?
technology? Larceny I have as well, yeah.
Do larceny for me.
Okay. And intelligence, right?
Yes, please.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5.
Tell me how Donecker disables the alarm.
It's a good question. Donecker's much smarter than I am, so he would know. But there's like a manufacturer sort of code that comes with these things. So if they don't know the password, they can like stop it. And he would like have figured that out. What that manufacturer's coded. He puts in a particular code and like the hash key and like the star key and a bunch of other things, and then it just stops beeping.
The shop is yours.
I'm going to find the best suit, the nicest one that I can find that fits me well.
And while you pick it out, we're going to cut to Toph and Tess. You have arrived at Siegfried's.
I think they can probably hear the music as they're coming up to the door. Whatever, I presume opera is playing at the moment. And Tess kind of looks at Toph and just grins. And she'll just try the door and walk in. If it's open.
Behind your back, Tess, Toph just smiles broadly when you just do that. Just walk in.
Is it unlocked, Jeff?
That's you, Jeff.
Let's see. No, it's not locked.
Yeah, so Tess walks in and just looks around for Siegfried and starts calling out, Siegfried?
The music stops, and in literally a flash, a blink, Siegfried's speed taking over. He goes from not being there at all to suddenly just whoo, he's right there. And his eyes like go wide immediately. Oh my god. Tess, Toph. And he's just going to run up and just like literally just give like Tess a bear hug and then do the same thing for Toph right afterwards. You guys are alive. Well, you know what I mean.
Close enough. I'm so glad you're here. What? Have you been here the whole time? What happened?
After and he kind of looks up to Toph, after the two of us got you out, I went back up the way that we came in. Toph went through the complex, and I got out sooner than you guys did and just figured that we would meet up somewhere else after, once we found a safe place. And then next thing I know, you guys weren't there. So I figured you would look for me here. So I came here.
Yeah, Puff, I guess I should have asked, how did we get to the tower?
um, Sheriff helped us. Okay, we really didn't have much of a choice. He took you, and I wasn't about to leave you out of my sight again.
The sheriff?
Yeah. Have you heard from Donecker? Toph tries to change the subject, not wanting to think about the sheriff or even think about that night anymore.
Yeah, you say that, and then Siegfried's face turns back.
Yeah. Shit.
No.
Where the fuck is that guy?
I don't know. I haven't heard, I haven't seen. When we were leaving, I mean, you saw him, Toph. He was something else entirely. I have no idea what even would happen.
Toph would be serious. No jokes in how he says this. That's the frenzy. So it happens to all of us if we don't keep the beast in check. Get lost to that
Siegfried,
bloodlust boy.
Siegfried audibly gulps when you say can't keep the beast in check, and he kind of like instinctively looks down at his own hands.
Tess would kind of reach out and grab your hands and give them a squeeze. It'll be okay.
You did what you had to do, Sig. Don't beat yourself up over it. You're still a new blood. I never should have left you out of my sight.
You didn't have a choice. You were literally a broken wreck.
I know that, but I never should have let Tess go back to her work. I figured if I gave you guys, and he kind of walks off, his back to you, and he says, figured it. You guys just needed to learn on your own. You weren't going to listen to me. But shit. I don't know why would they have me? I'm not cut out for this.
None of us are. But it's like you say, we'll find a way.
Toph would turn around and he'd smile at you and he'd say, right. I have to remember that I have just as much that I can learn from you guys as hopefully you'll learn from me. We have to trust one another though, okay? No more of this bullshit. And he would move close to the both of you. All right?
All right, I'm not the one keeping secrets here.
Toph would shoot you a look, and then he'd kind of wryly look at Sig, and he goes, "You're right. There's something I got to tell you, Sig." And he would tell him about the contract, and he would just kind of, boom, put it right out there real quick. Not quite as softened as he did with Tess.
Fuck.
I had to do it, Sig. I had to do it. I don't give a fuck what any of you think. I had to do it. I had to save Tess. I owed it.
I know. I would have done it too, but I'm sick of those guys. Just want them to leave us alone.
That's music to my ears, Sig. You don't know. Camarilla's outdated. And you would notice he gets a little bit quieter, even though we're in the privacy, hopefully the privacy of your flat. He says, their whole concept, their hierarchy, it's got to go. Vampires are vampires, right?
I guess.
Is there anything that you three wish to do?
Do we have a number for Fake? Or is it just Donecker that had it? I think it was just Donecker.
I think we all agreed that we're not entirely sure if Fake's phone is a real phone.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
But you do have the number for the gutter, which is the bar that he lives on top of.
Do we just wait here? See if Donecker comes back?
I think it makes the most sense, Tess. I mean, we could be running all over the streets of London looking for him. I mean, shit, we really don't know each other that well. I don't know where he'd gone. Do you know where his family lives? No, he wouldn't go back there. Would he?
I mean, we went there. I've seen the house. I drove him there.
We have to remember that where he went wasn't exactly in his calm state of mind either. He was a beast.
At the word beast, we see Donecker step out from the clothing, the changing room. Donecker, what have you chosen?
So he's looked at a few different things. Like some of them are very old school, sort of almost Victorian era, like white tie fanciness. They're extremely expensive, and he thinks like it's good to have one. So he's like grabbed that for himself, but he's also grabbed like a more modern sort of charcoal gray, which is very, very trendy, sort of some fancy. I'd never wear a suit, me personally, so I have no idea. But something fancy, like an Armani or something that's very expensive. He would grab one of those, make sure it fits him, and with the two of them, he'd put on the fancy one, the modern one, and like help himself to like a bunch of stuff from the shop and put it in with those very, very fancy bags that you see people kind of walking on the high street with, shirts and things like that. And he would then realize that he hasn't looked for cameras, which he would do immediately. And when he finds them, which I'm sure there are many of, he'll have to go and fix that.
You certainly will. Computer's security role, please, whatever it was.
Yes.
Intelligence and
Intelligence computers,
computers,
which
yeah.
is 9 dice. Four.
You are able to just stop them working and delete the footage if you wish.
Yep, it's the maneuver that he's kind of practiced now in is the looping of footage so that it looks like the same piece of footage repeating for a little while. He'll be careful that when he like takes items, that he like takes them from the back of the rack or something, so it doesn't look like anything's changed dramatically when the film restarts. He'll also take the money from the cash register if there is any, and then like a common criminal. And then when he's done that, all in the bag, he'll like make his way to the door and close it behind him.
There won't be any cash in the register in a shop overnight. It would be elsewhere.
Then I'll have to look for it. I mean,
you
in
can-
for a penny.
Yeah, absolutely. You can go to the back room and you see that there's a safe. It's not very well. It's not hidden.
Yeah.
But it's locked.
Okay. Right. Larceny.
Do it.
Which is a skill that I do possess. So intelligence is this. Larceny is this. One, two, three.
You're able to do the one of the oldest tricks in the book. You're able to actually listen, and because of your keen senses, you can
Yep.
actually tell. Normally, a human being probably wouldn't be able to do so, but you are able to tell that the code is like a 5-digit one as well. So it takes you a little while, but eventually it opens. Within, I've just rolled it, is £3,700.
I will take that and put it into the inside jacket pocket. Before I reach for the money, I will check that there's not like one of those ink explosion situations going on, because I know that like that's something that happens in shops. But I'll check kind of the inside of the safe, and I'll also check that there's no hidden compartments in that safe, and then I'll make my way.
No, you cleared it out.
Yeah, no problem.
You're free to go. Anything you want to do with
happy.
the door, or are you leaving it as it is?
I'll close the safe again and like relock it. And then I will go to the front door, and I mean, I broke the lock here, but they probably won't notice that anything's gone necessarily until they like check the safe. I haven't like ransacked the place or anything. There's not going to be any spare locks lying around, so I'll just close the door behind me and put the alarm back on before I leave.
Yep. You also managed to pocket a few vouchers, cheap gifts.
Definitely.
Where do you want to go now?
This is what I'm thinking, is that they said... Actually, Donecker doesn't know that she said Donecker, does she? Does he? He doesn't know that Tess would have said his name
Nope.
to the guy. Okay, so then he'll probably go to Down Street as opposed to anywhere else.
You make your way. we go back to Siegfried's place. What are you guys doing?
I think there's an awkward silence as no one knows what to say. Tess is kind of mulling over in her head, and at some point she looks at Toph. She goes, "A vampire's a vampire. You said that. Why?
Yeah, he slowly nods his head.
Why did you all risk yourselves for me?"
I'm responsible for you.
You said yourself, you barely know me.
Tess, I'm not letting those animals take you. And he thinks back to what Tess looked like when Siegfried and he had smashed into the room.
Look, when it may have only been a few days, a week, I don't even remember, since we've been like this, but when we first woke up, you were there. And even if it's been only a few days, the whole time that we have been like this, we've been here with each other. We're all we have right now. Camarilla won't do anything to us, with us, they won't help us. Winchester's after us. We don't know what we're doing. I'll take a friend anywhere I can get at this point. I hope we can at least call you that so far. Our hearts may not beat, but one. I don't plan on changing that for as long as I can help it.
All right. Fine, you're eloquent. It was a good speech. I'll buy it. Thank you. I don't think I deserved it, but thank you.
You have to stop talking like that, Tess. I don't know what you were like before you were embraced. But I think I've seen who you are now. You're strong, but you don't give yourself credit for it. Hell, you're stronger now than probably you ever were. You need to have faith in yourself.
I wasn't strong enough.
I don't care. None of us would have been.
I gave them Donecker's name.
What? What? You what?
The man with the glasses. He pulled it out of my head.
Toph kind of runs his fingers through his hair. He's like, oh shit, that changed everything.
I don't know if he gave it to anyone else, if it meant anything, if it died in that room.
I know no one's really too fond of talking about it right now, but as far as I know, and I'm guessing as far as you know, Toph, no one in that building is alive. So unless he has some way to get that name out with his mind in the same way that he pulled it from yours, I don't know that name is actually anywhere.
Tess, remember, I need you to remember, anybody in that room, before we got in there, leave.
Stazzer came in and out a few times. I don't remember.
Was he the big one, the one that Donecker was?
Yeah. Leopold Stazzer. He was in charge.
Okay. Well, listen. I don't know why, but Donecker's really good with computers. I have to think. Hopefully before he doesn't finish it. He doesn't want to finish because everyone knows that he took down the surveillance system. Donecker's smart. He would have done that. Would have found that room right off. So we have to think that hopefully he got down any kind of surveillance, video and audio. Then he would look at you both real serious and say, we have to think that he did it, but we can't count on it. We got to find Donecker. He may not be safe. If Donecker's not safe, we may not be safe.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's not your fault, Tess. Shit. I didn't mean to blame you like that. Who am I? I signed off our freaking lives away to the fucking Camarilla. Organization I can't even stand. Now, you have nothing to be sorry about. Nothing at all. But we gotta find Dawn. And I can't wait here. I'm going nuts.
Well, this is a surprise. For the first time ever, Siegfried and Toph on something. It wasn't your fault, Tess. Anyone would have done what you did. And yes, we need to find him.
How do you all intend on doing so?
Do you think he's himself now? Would he come here? Should we just wait?
Knowing him, he's probably worried about being spied on. If we're in bad, then he might not.
And he's probably right, too.
Let's go to Down Street. Toph cut you off. Sorry. Let's go to Down Street. I bet he'll go there. I think I heard him say that it made him feel the most at home. It would make sense. Yeah?
I could see that.
All right. Let's go.
How are you getting there? Tube?
Imagine we take the tube, right? That'd be the quickest way.
Sure. You depart. And as you depart, a train arrives. The old tube train, driven by an individual in a clown mask. It stares at you with empty eyes as you leave Donecker. You have arrived in Down Street.
Yeah, he'll make his way to the what's it called, the gutter, as quick as he can, and he feels good. Like, he feels very healthy, and he's also now wearing like very nice clothes, which like have a sort of effect on you. There's like a spring in his step. He remembers occasional flashes of like violence, but also he feels like that went as well as it probably could have gone. An attack on a Winchester stronghouse, like, and seemingly, they made it out of there from what he can remember. So he makes his way to the gutter and talks to the rough as fuck barman and says, I need to speak with Fag.
Just gives you a nod and tells you to go up.
I'll knock.
As you knock, it's almost like you see the flash of green lights, the green lights of the goggles of the Winchester guards, and then suddenly those lights go red. Come in, you hear a voice.
I'll come in and I'll like sit in the chair opposite the desk.
Well, look who it is, huh? Someone got some shiny shoes after all.
Yeah. Listen, Fag, you've been good to me, but I need to clear some things up. I need to clear up what you're doing and if I can work with you. Because, to be honest, the way the Camarilla has treated me and my friends has been just impossible for us to deal with. And I know that you're one of them, but I don't know how much you're one of them.
He pauses and he looks at you with ancient eyes. Gets up, walks around the table, and he opens this globe that sits beside his desk, and he says, "Would you like a drink?"
Sure, thank you.
He reaches in, he gets some whiskey, pours it into a glass, slides it across to you. You know, I drink this, always have done, for a long time, out of habit. You know what I mean?
I do.
And that is the best way I can describe the Camarilla. And old habits die hard, huh? You are unsanctioned. Lowest of the low.
They hold me responsible for a crime that I had no hand in committing. They demand that I do things for them, giving us no information about the things we were supposed to do. We are new to this, so new, days old, and when things go wrong, they blame us for that, even though they put us in impossible positions.
They are testing you, huh?
I am not interested in being tested. I'm not interested in being talked to like a slave, or to be forced to do things and threatened with violence if I don't respond. That is not something I can tolerate. I wouldn't have tolerated it when I was alive, and now I certainly won't tolerate it. I cannot.
We all have our place in this society. If you work hard, you might be the one ordering other people around, but you got to put the work in.
I don't want to order other people around. I don't think anyone should.
And what would you do, Donecker, huh? With your shiny shoes and your new suit, huh? What would you do?
Make my own way and do what I want to do. I don't want to hurt anyone. I don't want to break the masquerade. I'm not interested in that. I just don't want to have to do all this stuff under duress and threat.
Gives one long sniff. You don't want to hurt anyone, huh?
Well, not ideally.
Little situation with the Winchester, huh?
They took our friend.
And
The Camarilla made us look into this organization. They made us go kill a man in a hospital, set up a trap, and when that trap was sprung, we were told that we had done badly. And I believe wholeheartedly that they intended for that trap to be sprung. After that, they took our friend and they brought her away and were going to kill her, torture her, for information about the masquerade and the Camarilla, surely. And we went and saved her. And now, I imagine, they're going to make us eat more shit for it.
he looks down and he looks tired. You know, I once thought as you do. I once was upstart. I've been here a very long time. But even I had to make certain conditions. I had to realize my place in this world. And it took a long time. Very long time, Donecker.
I don't want to realize my place. I know my place, and it's to do what I feel like doing. I'm not a slave. I'm not even an employee. They don't even pay me for all the things they expect me to do. Why, if you're so old and so ancient and so powerful, why do you eat shit from them?
I do not eat shit for no one. And he suddenly looks very dangerous. I am Nosferatu Primogen. But I say all of our people do. We all contribute because we all want to remain as we are. What we have here, this is freedom.
Is it? Freedom? You can't be serious. You're bound by all these laws and codes. Someone up high in that fucking tower tells you what to do.
That someone up high has not been around for a very long time, Donecker. Rules can be bent.
I don't want to break the masquerade. I don't want to cause any trouble for the Camarilla. I'm not interested in dealing with them at all. I just want to be left alone to pursue my own things.
And if you reach that station, you will be allowed to, but until you have proven that you are of some use to our society, they will continue to ask these things of you.
We are set up for failure at every turn. Every time they send us somewhere, give us a mission, we are set up for it to go wrong because we're expendable. And that is not something that I can tolerate. I do not feel expendable. My friends are not expendable.
And yet it did not go wrong, and yet you still stand here. Why do you think they do this to you? They want to test you to see if you're worth keeping around.
It's too much. It's too demanding. There has to be other places that I can go, other groups.
There was a time when there was. I remember it well. Called us anarchs. You know the name, huh?
I know what anarchy means.
Then you know what we were. But even I had to agree that this was better than nothing.
I much prefer the sound of anarch to slave.
Then you understand that would put you directly in the, shall we say, crosshairs, huh? You know what happened last time? All dead. And if you didn't die, you joined.
And so you joined.
I did.
What about your principles and the things that you believed in, and freedom and justice?
Freedom, justice. You think that matters, huh? No, what matters is what was best for my people. And I made that decision.
And this is best? Living here? And he looks out the window at the shithole that they live in.
You are young. So I will forgive your oversight for now. But you do not know what it is like to have to look out for people for 1,000 years, huh? You have no idea what it is like to have that weight on you for so long. Everything has a cost, Donecker. Everything.
If I was free of these Camarilla fucks, then I would be able to do what I want to do. And what I want to do is make lots of money and acquire secrets and power. That's what I want. And that would be paid up to you. If I didn't have to do all this pointless shit, go after witch hunters and vampire hunters and maniacs who want us dead, who are...
You were given a road for this. You were told to go for Jeremiah. Yet I have noticed you seem relatively quiet on the situation.
I have been waylaid many times. We went and spoke with Jeremiah. We have wheels in motion, but every time I try and do that, something with the Camarilla happens, something with fucking Winchester, every time.
Well, Donecker, one thing I'm not short of is time. What do you want from me, huh? Why do you come here? In your new suit, huh?
I just wanted to see what kind of man you were.
And what do you see, Donecker?
Secrets are valuable.
They are. They are. Siegfried, Toph, Tess. Is there anything you wish to do on your journey to Downstreet?
Tess keeps looking around somewhat nervously. She had finally felt kind of safe again with Toph and with Siegfried, with the door closed, inside the familiar flat. And now she's nervous, and so she keeps bumping in to Siegfried and Toph, 100% in their personal space, like, almost constantly touching shoulders or elbows or running into them, like she can't be close enough, and she's afraid, but she doesn't say anything.
Toph doesn't say anything either. It's probably one of those trips that it's almost silence the whole time, and you can see Tessa's nervousness. He tries to give her a nice, easy smile, for what little help it does. He's nervous too, but he tries not to show it. For what it's worth, he has to let them think that he's in control, that he knows what we got to do next. But honestly, his mind is just racing 100 miles a minute. And, he's worried about Donecker, which when he says it in his head, he doesn't believe it. I'm worried about Donecker? Really? What is you're going soft, kid. What are you doing? But he still feels that it's the right thing to do.
In that case, then, it isn't long before you reach Downstreet, and you have to wait. You wait for that tube train to arrive, trundling along rusted tracks. That clown mask looking through you. And then you step onto Downstreet. I mean, you would likely go to the gutter, but tell me what you're going to do. Like, I don't want to hold your hand the whole way.
No, I don't think you're forced. I think that's the first place the three of us would go. We would want to. I think we'd want to. Toph would want to certainly try to see if he could talk with Fag, because if Donecker is not there, Fag's more likely. He has a lot more resources that could be helpful in finding him.
So in that case, I will say there is a knock on the door, Donecker. And Fake says, enter. And the door opens and you see your friends. Oh, and you see Donecker in a really, really expensive suit.
There's a pause as Tess registers the suit, and she just goes, "What? Where the fuck have you been? What are you wearing? You're okay." Oh my god, Donecker.
It's good to see you, all of you. I had to get some new clothes.
Toph can't help
It's,
but kind of scoff at that. It's audible.
It needs a little bit of tailoring around the waist and up on the upper arms, but other than that, it looks pretty good.
Well, maybe you can fix it for me.
You don't want me anywhere near a needle.
I was just speaking to Fag about, well, a lot of things.
Most interesting it was too, huh? Hello, by the way, I'm here too. Usually polite to address the individual who owns the office. Hello.
Hello, Fag. My apologies, but we didn't assume you were dead.
I
We
would
thought
hold
he
dead
might have
here.
been.
What do I owe the pleasure?
We were worried about our friend. Don't know if he told you. Well, you probably already know.
And what is that?
Then Toph would look at Donecker. You gonna make me tell him, Don?
About the
You-
Winchester thing. We talked about it.
Oh, yes. Yes, we did. Very impressive, huh?
What?
Yeah, but he didn't lost control of himself.
What's impressive?
That you're alive.
We took a stronghold of
Barely.
vampire hunters and we won.
Barely, Donecker. Tess almost died.
But she didn't. She's here and fine. And you're fine. And I'm fine. And Siegfried is fine. And they're dead.
We can talk later, but fine is a relative term.
Thank you for your time, Fag. And Donecker will stand up and close the button on his new suit and extend a hand.
He takes it and he looks at you and he says, I've listened to your words, Donecker. And I will think of them some more. But you must promise me something, huh?
Depends on what you ask.
For now, toe the line. I have some calls to make.
I'll tow it.
I like your shoes.
I'll shake his hand and turn around. Drink?
No. No.
Well, fuck, I know I need a drink. Thank you, Fag. And Toph would give him a curt little nod as he would want to get out of the room.
Yeah, let's head down to the warm embrace of the gutter.
You do. It is as slimy and as greasy a joint as you've ever been in before, but blood can be drunk. cigarettes, and alcohol, and whatever you really want to get fucked up with is at your disposal.
I'll buy a round of expensive whiskey and a pack of cigarettes with my newly acquired funds, and come over to the table with them.
Yeah. There's a quiet for a moment. And yeah. What do you want to talk about?
So how did you get out? I don't remember much. I came down to that corridor and then I woke up in the sewers. But I have flashes. And I know they're all dead.
I, perhaps surprisingly to you, know the feeling.
Did you?
Whatever.
Did you lose it?
Yes.
Tess like puts her hand on Siegfried's arm, just comforts him.
Did you fuck them up?
You wouldn't have even been able to tell that there were people there. You didn't see him before.
Good.
Oh, Siegfried.
It's not the word that I would use, but it
They need to
happened.
know. They need to know that they can't come at us like that. That they cannot fuck with us, or we will tear them to pieces. There's a reason that people are afraid of vampires and afraid of the dark, and we need to remind them of that. They took Tess from us, and they were torturing her. There can be no quarter given here.
It's at that point that Toph kind of just slams his cup down on the table with his hand on top of it, and some of the blood kind of just splashes out onto his hand, and he goes, and onto the table, and he goes, "Listen, I agree. Winchester, they deserve what they got." But eyes just kind of drill into you, Donecker. He says, "But you have to keep control of yourself. You had no control. You were a threat to everybody. If Sig and I wouldn't have got Tess out of there, you would have torn her apart, Donecker.
But I didn't.
Get that through your head. I don't love Winchester. Fuck. I can't stand the Camarilla. But you gotta get it through your head. You have to keep your control."
Wasn't my intention to lose my control, but it happened. And it's lucky that it happened. Or else we'd all be dead.
Donecker. Lucky this time.
I have no inclination to do that again if I can avoid it. It was not pleasant.
You have to control it.
I'm not seeking the beast. I don't want to become that at all. But sometimes you have to go nuclear, and we did.
Perhaps, surprisingly, I agree with Donecker. It's like it's clear that Siegfried is like struggling to even say it. If I didn't lose control like that, we would never have gotten Tess out. I didn't know what to do. I was frantic. I almost left.
I was wondering about that. No help came.
It came
What?
eventually.
I went in there expecting Siegfried to follow me, and he didn't. And it was just me.
This sour look comes across Toph's face, and he turns to you, Siegfried. He says, "You fucking let Donecker go in there by himself? When were you going to tell us that, Sig?"
I just fucking did, Toph. You think I wanted to say it? You think I wanted to do that?
I thought we agreed we wouldn't hold secrets.
Look, it doesn't matter now.
He turns to Tess, actually, of all of them. I'm sorry. There was so much happening. I didn't know what to do. I got overwhelmed. And there was nothing I could do. I couldn't bring myself for anything. But then I lost it. Woke up and the work was already done. And then Toph found me and I went back and we got it taken care of. I'm not happy with what I did. It happened, but I did what I could to make up for it. I went anyways in the end. And unless you have something to say right now, Toph, I don't think you have any right to talk about keeping secrets either.
Toph would have been nodding approvingly as you were telling that to Tess, because she's truly the one you had to apologize to, not Toph. And he, I guess he'd get kind of this sheepish look at that. You're right.
What?
And what little bits left in his cup, he's gonna drink. He's gonna drink. He drinks it, puts it down on the table, and he says, "Donecker, you're not gonna like what I have to tell you, and shit, you're probably gonna hate me for it, and I don't blame you. I hate myself, but I had to do it. Just know that I made a deal with Mr. G. He wasn't going to let me go and help you guys."
What kind of deal?
Fuck. He kind of looks down at his hands, fidgets with them a bit, and he goes, "I signed the contract."
What did it say on the contract?
We can get to that part later.
No, I think we should get to it now. I think it's extremely important.
He doesn't know.
He just shoots a nasty look at Sig. He goes, "The details are not known to me right now."
Donecker is like holding the whiskey glass and it just shatters. You don't know. You signed a contract and you don't.
I had to, Donecker, I had to fucking save Tess.
You're
had
fucked.
to do it.
You're fucked. They're going to make you do all sorts of dumb shit.
Oh, that's the fucked up irony
Tess
of it.
legitimately puts her face in her hands and just
Siegfried
It is-
just takes the glass of the whiskey and just downs the entire thing.
When I signed that contract, I signed for all of us.
Donecker is going to stand up and literally flip the table that they're at. He's going to flip it up and he's going to pick up the chair that he has and throw it at Toph.
Yeah.
And there's a brief image of this shadow that comes over Donecker's face, just a hint of the thing you would have seen, I guess, just for a second.
Donecker, you see people falling beneath you, screaming, trying to claw away from you. One of their legs already missing, pooling with blood, and then nothing. You're back in the room.
Fuck!
As he gets to when he throws a chair, Toph would probably use his celerity to move quickly out of the way of it, but he would definitely not be threatening. He totally gets Donecker's being pissed, and he would have done the same thing. Listen.
So he screams fuck very, very loudly. And he's like, wait, no, you can't sign a contract for us. What the fuck are you talking about? No, that's not legal. What about what?
no.
What are you gonna take him to court about it? He doesn't care if it's legal. This is fucking Mr. Gisborne.
I tried talking to him about it.
Listen, Donecker. And Toph puts his hands up and he says, "Listen, I signed the contract. If If you don't want to do it, I'm not going to force you. I'll do what I can.
You're not going to force me. The Camarilla is going to force me. You signed a contract for me. What the fuck are you thinking? What gives you that right to sign some contract for me? What the fuck? What?
It was my fault, okay?
It's not your
You
fault.
didn't sign it. It's not your fault. You
It was
weren't there.
because of me. It's because I wanted to go back. Because I couldn't stop. I was so fucking curious. I just had to see what was going on. I wanted to look at it myself. It's because I got caught.
That is another thing
You
that we will
guys were
talk
coming
about. But for now, I am very angry at Toph, and I have to deal with that first. You're next. Listen, Toph. All right. It's important to me that we look out for each other. That is good. But you cannot make decisions like that for me. You have looked out for me, and I appreciate that, but I do not want you signing my name anywhere else ever again.
Agreed.
Look, throwing around blame is what's happened has happened, okay? We can't change that. We need to figure out what we're going to do about it. We're here, we're in this situation, and it sucks. It really fucking sucks. But yelling at blaming other people, yourself, that's not going to help. What are we going to do about this?
We need to decide now what the protocol is when someone wants to make a stupid decision. The next time somebody wants to go back to their old life, next time somebody wants to go to work or sign a fucking contract, we need to have something in place so that people stop making ridiculous decisions on my behalf and dragging me into this shit. I want no part of it.
Well, you're still mad. I'm sorry. I gave them your name.
Toph is going to take a defensive stance closer to Tess when she says that. Now, easy, Donecker. Easy.
As far as we know, they're all dead. Everyone in that building is dead.
Why did you give them my
I'm
name?
sure.
Didn't mean to. You have to understand how hard I fought every second. And then there was a man, and he pulled it from my head. I said it. I tried to think of something else.
Fucking hell. What, a wizard?
I don't know.
So even if they are all dead, it's potentially possible that this person who pulled this from your head with magic? What? They could be anywhere. They could all know. I have a fucking family.
There was just your first name. I'm sorry. I tried really hard.
Toph reaches down and squeezes Tess's hand reassuringly.
I tried. And I know it's my fault. And I know I messed up. And I know that I wasn't strong enough. And I'm sorry.
Look, I know that you obviously tried fucking sorcery or something, pulled it from your brain. But the issue is that someone knows, and maybe all of them know. Maybe this, we don't know. I don't know what a wizard can do, whatever the fuck that guy was. Maybe he's told everybody else who's what he is. We met one, me and Sig, met a vampire fucking sorcerer. You know, who knows what's possible? If they know my name and they know I'm a vampire, then there are very, very few, I would imagine, Donekers in this city who have gone missing in the last whatever amount of time. I think that if I was them, I would be able to figure it out.
Did you take care of the cameras?
I turned off all of the power and the electricity, and I destroyed the computer. So even if the cameras somehow were working, the footage would have ended up there, I imagine.
Tess killed the man.
But who knows, after
You,
he
Donecker.
took that information, he might have broadcasted it to all of the other people who can do what he can do.
I didn't.
That's doubtful, Donecker.
I didn't tell them that you're new. They don't.
They know that you are new. They know that we are new. They know that I am new. They know that my name is Donecker. That is not a common name in this city. How many Donekers do you think have gone missing in the last week? Me. Just me. They can find my wife and my daughter. I have to go deal with that.
Look, I know that this is not an easy situation, but going back there is doing exactly what Tess just did, going back to her work. The closer you get to them, the more danger they're in.
I'm not going back there, but I need to do something. Get them out of this city.
Toph doesn't say anything, but he just sadly kind of just shakes his head.
I didn't mean to.
I know. It's fine. It's fine. I know you didn't mean to. But the situation is really, really fucked and I have to fix it.
Toph would pull you in close, Tess, and look at Donecker and say, well, whatever you're doing, we're doing it together. We made that mistake. We're staying together from now on. Strength in numbers.
What I need to do is acquire property somewhere that's not in this country, and put it in her name and leave a letter from my solicitor saying that I had acquired this during my life and now I am dead and here is the property. Go there. Some way to get her out of here.
Your wife, Donecker. What did she do?
She's a teacher.
She have a passport.
Yeah.
We'll need quite a bit of money to make any progress with that.
Yeah, we will.
You can have access to anything I've got.
I don't imagine any of us have the kind of money lying around that it's required to buy a property somewhere, so I'm going to have to do that. Who rob a bank?
Did somebody say a large amount of money? A voice comes across the gutter.
I did.
You look across the room and you see a wiry figure with a long coat and a wide-brimmed hat. He slides off the stool and swaggers over. He has these sort of boots that sort of clink as he walks. And he slides onto a chair next to you, Donecker. Hello. My name is Jonah. It is a pleasure to kill you. And that's where we're going to take a short break. Guys, 2-minute break really quickly. And we're going to go back to it. 2 minutes. I've returned. Thank you for those of you who are watching live and after the fact. That was awkward.
Yeah, a little bit.
But it's great because it's one of those times where I can just be like, I'm just going to sit back whilst you guys argue. It's one of my favorite things. I've been asked about blood pool. You'd all be at your maximum. So whatever that is.
I don't think there is a max blood pool.
Yeah.
You can
it's
only
10.
go a certain amount. No,
Oh yeah, for based on like your generation, is it?
That was a so it's usually 7 or 8. I'll say 8. Why not?
Is mine
Oh, is that
higher
what it
because
is?
of the murder spree, or is it 8?
8 because you lost a lot as well.
Yeah, sure.
That was great though, guys. Great to just sit back.
I think it had to happen. I mean, things have been building up over the last few episodes, so
Oh man,
Yeah,
that was
just
so much
all
fun.
it was like that
all the
pressure.
pent up like frustrations and disappointments and disasters, and
I
just-
was
Are you
literally-
okay? Do you need a hug?
it had to reach a boiling point at some point. Just
Literally right
explode.
after Toph told him, then Tess said that thing. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Damn, no, Tess.
Might as well
don't
just get it all done now.
To get it over with.
just get
Do you
the
know
whole
that,
thing over with.
That speech that Ben Stiller gives in Batman v Superman, where he's like, if there's even a 1% chance, then we have to treat it as an absolute certainty. That's how Donecker thinks. It's like, if there's even any chance at all that they know it's him, then they have to treat it as it's
Oh,
definitely
that's totally
happening.
that's
You know,
smart. For sure. We don't know what Winchester's technology level is.
sure. Or like fucking wizards. You know, like he could be a
Yeah,
whatever,
exactly.
thaumaturge.
He could just telepathically have sent that name out, and we would have no way of knowing.
Yeah, some agent off before Donecker killed him was pulling it out of a thumb drive and downloading it somewhere.
I just had a mind fuck because I was like, was Ben Stiller in Batman v Superman? And then I realized you meant Affleck. I was like, Ben Stiller was in it?
Very different film.
God. Oh, Batman v Superman. God save us all. Right. Are we ready to get back into it?
Yep.
Jonah is sat opposite you and he says, meet you. I'm so sorry. I should really not mix those words up. I'm so sorry. Pleasure to meet you.
I think like Donecker's like fists untense ever so slightly, and like maybe the fangs like slot back into where they're supposed to be.
Oh, they're nice, Jonah says, and he gives you a wide grin. I overheard you talking about needing an overwhelming amount of money.
And that concerns you how?
I just so happen to have an overwhelming amount of money. My name is Jonah. I'm a primogen, don't you know?
Are you?
I am.
Which one?
What do you think?
Well, we're quite new to this, so I don't even know what all of the options are.
Oh, so you've only just started burning. Okay, cool. My name is Jonah Wolfwood. I'm the Malkavian primogen around here.
Donecker has this face of like, what's a Malkavian? Like, no idea. But it just sounds like...
So Siegfried, I would guess, has the exact same face as Donecker. Just like, is that supposed to mean something? And then he like looks towards Toph and just like,
Yeah, and you see Toph mouth, oh fuck.
He spots that open gesture and he sort of slides up across with his chair, and it makes like a horrible scraping noise as he gets closer to you, Toph, and he says, "Is there a problem?"
Nope, no problem here. I just remembered I left the oven on at my flat. So I was like, oh fuck.
I used to do that too. Then I realized I was burning too many people. Let's cut to the chase. I have something that needs doing, and from what I see and hear, you are all incredibly capable of achieving such a thing.
What is the thing, Jonah?
I want my friend rescued, please.
And where is your friend?
He is being held by human authorities. Something I cannot abide.
Winchester? I'm sorry, he cut you off, Donecker.
Who?
Okay.
Never mind.
What? Oh, back it up. First off, if your introduction was supposed to be a joke, it's not funny. Secondly, I don't know what a Malkavian is. That means nothing. Congrats on being Primogen, I guess. Thirdly, why the hell do you have a friend being held by human authorities? Is it a human friend? And the pay better be really fucking good if any of us are going to be in an ounce of danger, because I have had a really
What
shitty
my
couple of days.
associate is trying to say, Jonah, is that we have had a lot of trouble recently dealing with human authorities, and we want to be sure that these human authorities are not the ones that we just dealt with, because those human authorities are, well, either you would need to pay us a ridiculous amount of money to try and attempt that, or we'd have to possibly even say no.
I walked the plains of blood, and I see that you were efficient at letting it. No, it is not those that you have fought before.
Who then?
I will show you.
Can you just tell us instead?
And spoil the surprise.
Yes, and spoil the surprise.
I don't know what they call themselves, but if they feel that they have the authority to hold my friend, they have another thing coming.
Is this a vampire friend?
Of sorts, yeah.
How much money, Jonah?
Money. $20,000?
I'm afraid that's just not going to be enough.
Really?
I'm looking to buy a house, actually. So it'll need to be, a little bit more than that.
Getting on the property ladder, that's just... It's brave of you.
It's a good investment, I feel, since I will live forever.
I like you. Okay. Do you really think you're worth that? For like a couple of hours work?
Or you could ask someone else.
What's your friend's worth? Is your friend worth 20,000?
No.
More?
No, you're right. You're right. It's worth more than that. Well, how much is your fee? If you're so good, if you're so professional, not like you're a week old.
20. Let me tell you something. When Toph heard 20,000, he's like, "Holy shit, that's probably more money than Toph's seen in like a few decades." And then when Donecker snubs it, he's kind of like, "What the fuck, man?"
You seem like a man of means, Jonah. A very capable and trustworthy sort. I like round numbers. I like numbers that have a certain gravitas to them. I think 50,000 is more appropriate.
Okay, but for 50,000, I'm coming with you. I want to watch.
We usually work alone.
No, you don't.
Beg pardon?
You don't work alone.
Okay. What the fuck do you know?
Loads. Loads and loads.
Well, then if you know loads and loads, then you know we're probably worth at least 6 figures, to be honest.
You're not. You're really not. I'm doing you a favor by doing this, okay?
Toph kind of reaches over very gently and sets a hand on Tess's leg, and he just squeezes.
Jonah, if you do come along, we'd have to have a promise from you that you won't interfere.
Define interfering.
If you come along to watch, then you will watch. You'll not engage in any activity at all beyond watching. You won't reveal us at any stage. You won't talk to anyone along the way. You will not kill anyone or attack anyone. You'll simply watch.
Might I remind you, and I'm not really one to pull rank, I'm really not an authority kind of guy, but if you tell me not to talk again, I will end you.
It's not
Look.
meant as any offense. It's merely a case of if we're going on this mission, we have a particular way that we like to do things. We can't have all these variables coming in and changing it.
Okay, but I get to commentate.
Look, guys, I don't like this. I don't know who this guy is, and you seem well enough, but there's got to be plenty of ways to make money as a
Okay.
vampire.
One more thing. I will show you where you have to go. You can look at it. If you think it is beyond your ability, if it is not worth your time to spend probably an hour, maybe a little bit more to earn 50,000 of our finest English pounds, you can walk away. You can just walk away and you'll never see me again. Maybe.
I think it's worth a look.
It's worth a look. The night is early. Shall we?
But I'm not all of the outfit. Jonah, I'll have to confer with my friends. If you'll give us 1 minute.
1 minute. Okay. Starting. And he moves away.
It's 50 grand for an hour's work.
No.
It is
I
not a
could
good
not
idea.
trust this guy
Donecker.
less.
I kind of like him.
Listen. We only got 60 seconds. Actually, we got less than that now. Machiavellians are crazy as fuck. They're unpredictable. He might not even pay you. Pay us. Pay
There's
you.
nothing that I can think of that will get us this much money in that short a time. We should at
He's
least go and
asking
look
if
where
he
it
can
is.
commentate our mission like a fucking football commentator.
And if he pays us £50,000 to do that, then I'm fine with it.
He's gonna do something crazy. I just know it.
He's a primogen. We're not going to get in trouble.
I don't want to go.
Tess doesn't want to go. Donecker.
Then I'll go on my own. It's 50 grand for a minute of work. It's ridiculous.
I'm not leaving Tess. Not again. Nope. It's not happening. Not for 50,000. Not for 150. Fuck, not for $1 million.
Donecker, is this really what you want?
I want money quickly so that I can get my child and my wife away to safety. This is the quickest possible way that I can see.
All right.
You don't have to come along.
I owe you.
Now, even for me, that was generous. What's it to be?
Let's have a look at the place.
Let's go. And he sort of like springs from the gutter. He has an energetic step about him. His cloak, his coat sweeps behind him, puts his hat on. He has sort of like silvery hair and very extraordinary eyes. There's something very peculiar and strange for him, even for a vampire. And he sweeps before you. And he waits for the train. Do you need to make any preparations? He asks.
If you told us where we were going or what the building was, I could do some research on the way.
No. You need to see it to believe it. It's not exactly an ordinary kind of building.
Then tell us about your friend.
His name is Saracen. Got himself in with a bad crowd. All right? With a really bad crowd.
Do you know Fabian? Like you?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay, kind of. You've said kind of twice. What is that?
Well, it's awkward. It's weird. And I've only just met you. Come on. Take me to dinner first.
How will we recognize your friend when we get there?
I don't think you'll miss him. He's pretty big. The train arrives. The clown mask staring at you once again. And you take the journey. The train, it trundles. Sorry, go ahead.
Tess is gonna, like, as they're boarding the train, we'll kind of grab Toph and go, vampires can't make babies and have, like, weird half-clan things, right? Tell me that's not possible.
Actually, that's a really good question. Can they? I don't think they can. No.
Not according to you.
Yeah. Toph would say, no, can't happen. I hope it can't happen.
Don't tell me that.
Oh shit, Tess, I've seen stranger shit these last few days than I've seen in a while.
She'll just shake her head and get on.
The journey is fairly swift, and you find yourselves walking up that dilapidated staircase out of Down Street. And you see that there is a car, a black car, waiting with the blacked out windows. Jonah gets in the back, but leaves the door open. Would you like a sweetie? He says, looking at you, Siegfried.
A what?
A sweet. It doesn't matter. Just get in the car.
And Siegfried just like shakes his head like, I can't believe this guy.
And it's fairly spacious. It reminds you actually a little bit of Vincent's limo. Not quite as roomy, though. And the car, you can't see the driver. This is another thing. There's sort of like a blacked out kind of window between where you're all sat and where the driver is. And Jonah says, I've heard a lot about you.
All good things, I hope.
To me, they are.
From whom?
Bigwigs.
Which ones? We know quite a few.
The main ones. I don't really remember what they look like. It's been a while since I've seen them. Places to be, stuff to do. I like to think that I have a very hands-on approach with my role as Primogen.
You haven't seen them in a while, then how have they given you this information?
I don't go to them to get this information. do that? Why would I do that? Are you mad? And that's coming from me.
Then how?
I
Call
have
them
a
on the phone?
phone. Yes, a phone. A good old-fashioned phone. It's a landline too. It's one of those ones that you have to pull around the circle and let go. Pretty fun.
Those are fun.
Pardon?
Those are fun.
They are fun. Yes, they are. Right, we're here now. The car stops.
Will we have a look, or
Yep, you look, and you appear to be outside of London Zoo. He brings up his phone and he shows you a picture of a particularly large tiger called Saracen. You should find him in there.
I'm sorry. You expect us to believe that you have a pet tiger?
Well, I did, and he kind of got taken off my hands, and I want him back. 50,000? Come on.
Saracen, is he likely to attack us?
He's a tiger.
But he didn't attack you.
No, I'm pretty persuasive. Also, I could feed him people, so...
Donecker looks at the rest of them and says, I can talk to animals.
Donecker.
I can talk to rats.
Yes, I know you can talk to rats. We're not seriously going to liberate a tiger from the zoo.
For £50,000.
They're great.
You guys hear the car door open as Toph opens it and steps out. Looks down at the rest of you. Well, we gonna do this or what?
When we get Saracen, where do we bring him?
The car?
You'll wait here, will you?
No, I'm coming with you.
The car will wait here.
Yeah.
Do you happen to have any little sweeties for Saracen that might make him go to sleep?
No, but I expect that the zookeeper might provide such ample sustenance for him.
No. I'm not talking about feeding him a person. I'm talking about feeding him a tranquilizer.
Oh, no. No. I don't believe giving animals drugs. Shame on you.
Toph standing there, he kind of lean in. He'd be like, so you don't want us to trank your friend?
Your Nost friend just said that he can talk to animals. Okay? Come on, you can persuade him.
Sure he can. Don can do a lot of things. Right, Don? Let's go.
Let's hope.
Good luck, he bites. And that is where we're going to leave tonight's session. So, thank you so much for watching, guys. We're just going to do the usual XP thing now, where we talk about what people did in the game and what was cool. So what was it again? It's been a while since we played. It's
Start with your learning moment.
what do
One
we
for
learn?
free. What did you learn? And
Yeah.
then other people's favorite
was it.
moments.
So one for free because everyone's here. And we will do learning curve first, and we will start with Siegfried. What did Siegfried learn?
Siegfried has learned that the group cohesion, as it were, is not quite as stable as perhaps that he would have hoped that it was. We saw a lot in this session that all the stuff that normally would be issues that would have been handled have kind of been suppressed as it's been so crazy. And there was like just a huge boiling over moment in this session where suddenly just everyone was at everybody's throats. Was learning that there's got to be a little bit more of a delicate balance between what everybody's trying to accomplish if they're going to stay as a group. 'Cause it seems like right now everybody wants different things.
Absolutely. What was Donecker's learning curve?
So it sounds really shitty, but he actually thinks that these people are holding him back. That like they keep making terrible mistakes over and over again, and he has cleaned them up many times. That like if it was him going the missions on his own, he feels confident that he'd be able to do it. So he's actually starting to feel like, why the fuck? Like he like likes them a lot, and they're his friends, and and like he'll rescue them when they need to be rescued. But also sometimes he's just like, listen, I'll just do it. You guys, I don't know, put your feet up or something. He's starting to feel like they can be a burden at times.
Nice. Tess.
I think Tess is realizing kind of similarly to Siegfried that the mentalities are diverging at this point. Like they're at the beginning it was we're in this together, we're all brand new, and now there's starting to be a clear divergence of what everybody wants, and that might be a problem.
And Toph.
See, Toph has always got to go against the grain, because as I'm listening to all your guys' learning moments, I'm thinking mine is like the polar opposite of that. So Toph is a guy that's basically walked the road for a long time that Donecker is talking about, and he's actually flipped on that, and he's actually the other way. And what he's learning is they need to stay together. They need to work together, and they need to do that through being more honest with each other, even when it hurts. And it hurt Toph to be so honest today. So his learning thing was really just there is some benefit to working with others and taking care of each other.
For sure. Excellent. And then we'll go on to the role playing. So this is where everyone can pitch in. And we'll just go back the way we came. So let's start with Toph.
I really liked the corner turn moment that Toph had of like he's been the one kind of not pulling the strings, but like keeping his cards close to his chest. If it's like, I'm gonna do what I need to take care of. And for him to be like to stop Tess, who like it was clear that she wasn't going to ask about what Toph was so uncomfortable about. But for him to say, like, no, stop before we leave, I just gotta fucking say this. I gotta get it out. Like, I did this terrible thing with the contract, and I need you to know. Just to be able to provide that unsolicited, I think was a very big moment for Toph of like realizing that, this isn't the time to play poker with everybody. That it's better to have it out in the open and be upfront.
I like the moments where he was like comforting Tess in that like awful fight that happened. When Donecker was just like he was being shitty, but also he wasn't trying to be like shitty, but he was being like blunt, and just like saying whatever needed to be said, which, and Toph was like making sure that everyone was okay, which I thought was also a big step for Toph.
I like at the end when Toph, who doesn't really like this Malkavian guy, doesn't seem to be keen on the plan, but because they've decided that this is what they're going to do, he's the first one out of the car. He's like, all right, let's go. We're sticking together. We're going to do this.
Yeah, true as well. I mean, I like the bit where that it's already been taken, where you were having the argument and Toph was actually trying to be reasonable, which I thought was growth in some way. Role playing for Tess.
Crying. God, so hard to be an asshole when you're crying. Just couldn't handle it.
Yeah, I was gonna say something similar. Just like how like well that the vulnerability of Tess was portrayed in the session was like really cool. Like you can really get a sense of how much that the incident was like traumatic to her, and also that she like blames herself for everything that's happened to a lot of the other people. I think kind of shows a lot of like where she's at right now. So it was really interesting to see how like effectively that was portrayed.
Yeah, I liked I liked a lot of what Taylor did in tonight's session because she definitely brings the feels to our little group. But I just like the vulnerability. And I can't, again, it'd be tough to pick one moment because it started from opening scene all the way through. So I really like that. But if I had to pick one, it's that last scene when Donica just flipped the table, threw the chair, was pissed off to all hell, and Tess was just sitting there, just kind of wallowing in her own like guilt and blame that she was assigning to herself, like it's all her fault. I really like that. That was a really good, strong moment.
Yeah, I second all of those points. I also like that we saw a little bit of lawyer Tess come out, which was pretty cool. Trying to negotiate with a vampiric contract, which made me smile. Excellent. Donecker.
Okay, I'm just gonna have to pick one because there's about 1,000. I think the sharp suits. I think the image of Donica like stepping out of the dressing room in the sharp suit and like maybe like trying a little hat flip and like seeing if it covers his ears and like it just I I picture Donica with the shiny shoes and everything, and it was just so perfect. Is him like very carefully making sure to take things from the bottom and being absolutely meticulous, but coming out and picking all these very nice things. I really liked seeing that aspect of him.
Yeah, for me, it was the one on the other side of the spectrum of him losing it and throwing the like knocking over the table and throwing the chair like at Toph. If it's like Donica's usually the one that's like, oh, we're going to be specific, we're going to be controlled, we're going to do this, the right way, the careful way. And just to see him get eventually, like so much of this Camarilla thing has just gotten so fed up that he just like let it out, and he did something like a little uncharacteristic, and that was basically just completely flip out on everybody else.
I think another great interaction for Donica was when he was meeting with Fag. Even though Fag is this ancient vampire, Donica still kind of dug his heels in, and he only begrudgingly at the end, after it was kind of basically coerced out of him by Fag, you're just going to toe the line for now. And I just love the way that whole scene played out, because we had a Donica that was going to get himself offed if he just crossed the line, but he would just go like, Lloyd, you just did great, just keeping Donica right dotting along that line, but never really crossing over it. I thought that was great.
That was my favorite Rob moment of the game, was that conversation with Fag. I loved it.
I love that too, man. That it was it just felt very it felt like they were actually having like a proper conversation for the first time, really, without Fag doing his usual dance, which was really cool. And finally, Siegfried.
For me, it was that Siegfried went right back to his place and kind of went into those very human moments. I can imagine the alive Siegfried would have done the same thing. He had a rough audition or something, and he would go right back to his place and he'd be playing this music and he would kind of shut himself in. And I just love that after that kind of horrific night that everyone had, that's exactly what he did. So it was like that little glimmer, you still see that flash of humanity that Siegfried still has, especially given the fact that he had kind of raged before. I liked it.
I like to go ahead. Okay, I'll go. The him being the voice of reason in that conversation at the end, I thought was good. He like freaked out, which is great. When you see a lot of that in Siegfried, he tends to just be like, okay, yep, because he's like more subdued than the rest of us. But yeah, he like freaked out. He was like about the cowardice, in quotation marks, about like having fled and left or whatever. I thought that was really interesting.
I really liked the scene where he's like checking his phone and like has these calls that haven't gone through, and it, that concern that was very palpable of okay, they're not here yet. They still haven't seen the messages. Damn. And I really liked that.
I mean, again, second all of them. You stole the one that I was going to use, which I really liked, was that he just went back home. I just really like that. It was like, fuck this. I just want to go home. And he went home. And I like that he lost his shit and just went, fuck off, Toph. Like, it was like, just fuck off for one moment. Just shut up. And it really made me laugh. It was great. Just really, really good. Okay. That's everyone, isn't it? Perfect. So once again, thank you, my wonderful players, for allowing me to sit back. Just excellent stuff. And for those of you watching now and after that, thank you very much. If you like this video, give it a like. If you'd like to see more like it, then give me a subscribe or not. We're all friends here, or are we? Take it easy. I hope that all of your performances are up to standard. And end the broadcast. I missed it.